Guys, you need to mind. I have no idea why I'm this zoomed. I have no idea why I'm this big in this video. My phone updated last night and something went wrong because I'm so big on the screen. And I've been trying to sort this out for the past 20 minutes and I'm like, how the hell do I do this? So, excuse me if I'm this big today. That wasn't planned. I need to solve this. But great win in Glasgow. 3-0 to us. Massive performance. I mean, massive first half. Then I think after the penalty that they missed, it was a training session for us. They were absolutely pathetic. And I don't wanna sound disrespectful to them. Because I always admired them. I always admired, the Scottish atmosphere and everything. But today they were absolutely pathetic. And when the draws came out, I was the first one to say that the double away game in Glasgow, Rangers and Celtic, would have been, the biggest obstacle in our European group. I was completely wrong because both Rangers and Celtic were by far the easiest games of our group stage, which clearly means that they're living through and that they're going through a very complicated moment. You could tell. I mean, that fan base today was dead. They were silent. They emptied the stadium after 60 minutes. So you clearly understand with these little hints that that something isn't right at the club. And they got the new manager. I felt bad for him. I felt bad for the manager because there were times where he looked absolutely clueless today, but then again, he joined like last week, so it's like maybe the problem is bigger than the manager. But no, I mean, Celtic were very bad. I think there were a lot of. The thing with Celtic today is I think there were a lot of structural problems in their team. I mean, their defense line was so slow, and which is why in that first half we played very intense and everything worked out for us because we played well, and I'm not gonna remove credit from us. I think we played a great game. Again, I would argue that the first half was the best first half of the season, but I think at times you need to conceptualize you need to get the context. You need to contextualize what you see and say that we played great, but they were shit. Which is why I think we need to, as always, remain feet on the ground because everyone will look at this performance and go, amazing, we'll beat everyone. Because again, I always say this, we don't use balance when we analyze. So you win this game and all of a sudden we're back going. But you need to contextualize. Celtic were disastrous today. Their defense line was so slow. In the first half, they didn't play with a striker. I mean, when Iheanacho came on, I saw some light for them. But even then, it looked very complicated. So, yeah, I think I liked the lineup. I liked the lineup because I liked Pizzilli starting. We predicted this in the match preview. And Gasperini did tell us that he was going to start from the beginning in today's game in yesterday's press conference. Also, I liked the fact that Ferguson started. And I understand his mind games because yesterday in the press conference, he completely crucified him, saying that he had too many chances. Starts today and scores a double. That second goal is a very good goal. That second goal is a screamer. Would he have scored that goal with a better defender? Probably not. But it's those goals that make strikers confident. And in that movement, stop, movement and shoot, he looked like prime Gonzalo Higuain. That was the classic Higuain El Pipita movement. So it was a good double for him. And then of course Mancho. I mean, was it a Mancini goal? I think it was an own goal. And then Bailey scored a screamer again. But unfortunately, he was offside, which I felt very bad for him because just like Ferguson needed that goal, Bailey needed that screamer. We need to get them back going if we don't want to, lose them in January because we end loans and stuff. They've had their minutes. Again, Bailey, I think, has been injured for the majority of this season. Ferguson has struggled to get consistently into the lineup. These are moments that can change their confidence. I I'm not saying that we have Ferguson back and that I'll pay the 40 million because Ferguson is amazing. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because they were disastrous today. Again, we were great, but they were terrible. So it's like, I'm very happy, but there's a limit to my happiness because I know that part of what the freedom that we had in that first half, part of the freedom that we had when scoring goals also came because of their limits, because they weren't a good team. They aren't a good team, and it's not a surprise that they've struggled in the league and in Europe this season. But again, the intensity was great. I mean, that's something that you can play against the best or you can play against the worst. That's something that you control yourself. Again, teams can make it look easier. We played very intense in that first half. We intercepted the ball so many times. So many times Mancini and Ndika came from the back into their into their half, press high, grab the balls high, and then set the play high. And that is probably what also led us scoring 3 goals. I think we created more chances in the first half an hour of this game than in the first 4 months of the season. So these are all great signs, but it was a team that was inevitably on their knees. So again, there needs to be, in my opinion, an element of a contextualization from this game, because it won't be like this every game. On Monday, we face a very complicated team like Como, who are better than Celtic, so it won't be this easy. I'm looking at we are effectively. I'm frightened of being this close to the camera, but there is nothing I can do. I mean, it came out of surprise. This technical problem literally jumped out of nowhere, which is why I was a bit delayed. I'm gonna try not to zoom too much because you're gonna be scared of me. But looking at the Europa League table, we've effectively grabbed the ticket for the playoffs minimum. We're in the playoffs, absolutely. We're in the playoffs because mathematically we're not. Probably we are, actually. Mathematically we probably are, because some of the teams are not going to win games. So we're definitely in the playoffs. We won that top 8, and we're currently 10th. 3 consecutive wins in Europe, same points as Stuttgart, who are 9th, and then above us we have Porto Braga, 1 point ahead of us, Ferencváros, Freiburg and Betis, 2 points ahead of us, and Villa, Midtjylland and Lyon, who are leading the Europa League table, 3 points ahead of us. Everything is very possible. I think we're going to get in the top 8. I want to be optimistic and say that we are, because the game against Stuttgart at home, which is the next one in January, is not an easy one, but we're playing at home, and then the last one is against Panathinaikos, who, frankly speaking, all love and respect to them. There are twins, but I don't think they're an amazing team. So I reckon we're going to get in that top 8, which after that disaster class penalty shootout against Leo, it looked like an incredibly far away dream. But we've climbed back, also matched with teams that have lost points. I think, without jinxing anything, of course, it is still very possible and it's very doable, and I think we're all going to get in that top 8. And it is important, because if there's one thing that this team wants right now, especially now that the team is still not, the squad depth isn't amazing, is playing the least amount of games as possible. And 2 games, knockout stage in February, like we did last year against Porto. I would gladly avoid. Okay, let's we get the FERGIE show says Julio, great win and happy for Ferguson. Ange returns. Ange, the group chat went wild for FERGIE tonight. By the way, the thumbnail is crazy. 2 of them, just in case. There's no thumbnail for a good draw. No. We never draw. My graphic designer, I told my graphic designer, don't even care, don't even bother. I don't even need to send you a mild face. Not one celebrating, but not a frustrated one, because we never draw. The last draw was in April. We're a team who either wins or loses. We don't know what a draw is, so there's no point in preparing draw thumbnails. I thought Gasperini would continue the intense press, but we managed to kill the game in the second half, which is a good skill to have. Yeah, I mean, that second half, it was a training session. It was a training session. Also, the offside for Bailey was very soft. I mean, those offsides, in my opinion, should be cancelled from football, because I don't even think it was offside. It probably was, but you get the point. It was so close that it's like, why do we even have those rules? And other thing, that penalty that they gave, that's UEFA Mafia all again. Nobody will speak about that penalty because we won 3-0 and because he missed that penalty. If this game we hadn't won, we would be shouting UEFA Mafia again. Nobody is looking at it, of course, because we won and we dominated and we absolutely killed them. But how that's a penalty to me? And then, you know, again, what this proves to you is that, you know why I think, you know why I'm not allowed to dream? Because I just know that one day in this Europa League campaign, the referees will fuck us over again. I just know it's going to happen. Which is why UEFA is not allowing us to dream. Not only did they rob a final, do we remember that Brighton game with De Rossi in Brighton? We won the first leg 4-0, but do you remember that second leg? The goal that they disallowed to Azmoun, I think it was. Bilbao last season, red card, who was like halfway through the pitch. I am not allowed to dream because I don't even want to. Even in this Europa League, which looks like I'm not going to define it the easiest, but we have a good chance in this Europa League to go far. I am not thinking about how we can possibly reach the final stages because I know that these referees will fuck us over again. And they were about to, in fact, they did so today. They fucked us over because how that's a penalty. That's the softest penalty I have ever seen. And thank God he missed it because that's karma. And karma is a bitch. Remember that. I thought Gasperini would, oh yeah, we read that. How things, mate, well done. Was poor in the night from a Celtic fan. Take care. Respect, mate. Respect. I wish you guys the best. I ain't gonna lie, the atmosphere was a bit dead. I did expect a bit more from Celtic Park, but I understand the dynamics and the circumstances, and we went through tough stages last season as well, where the stadium was mad and pissed and empty. So respect to you guys. Pull through, and the sun will rise again. Next match against the Germans will be crucial. The time they must be focused and win. So now we have the money for Zirkzee. Will Ndiko be us on Monday against Como? I think yes, but it's not confirmed yet. So hope Celtic over their rough patch. What the fuck do you know about Celtic? Why don't you play yourself at your age? What does that even mean? I mean, what does that even mean? Play yourself at your age? If I could play myself at my age. What? What are you on about? Go to bed. You got destroyed, mate. You know Steph Curry? Night night. Night night. Night night. Mate. Night night. What would you do with Ferguson? Again, I love, and this is the Roma fan base at its finest. This is the Roma fan base at its finest. I love how he scores a double, a brace, and everyone now goes, what should we do with him? That just shows you how desperate we've been this season. That just shows you how desperate we've been this season. Because I have read friends, fans on social media go, pay the 40 million after that second goal. And I'm like, chill down, calm down. I know that some of them is irony, of course, but calm down. A striker needs to score goals. The fact that we get overexcited, this applies to Dovbyk as well. The fact that we get overexcited for the goals that they score is a clear proof that we've been so desperate. Because whenever our strikers actually score a goal, which is what they're paid to do, we're like over the moon. And this doesn't just apply to Ferguson, this applies to Dovbyk as well. Having said that, he played a great game. And that second goal is a very good goal. Very, very good goal. Very, very good goal. I'm not taking anything away from him. But it's not this performance which makes me go, yes, he's our striker. Yes, Brighton, I'm ready to cash in 40 million. You know, it's not. It can't be. Because if it is, it means that we're very, 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 in a very, very, very critical position. And we are, because our strikers have never turned up this season. So the second they score a goal, I mean, the second I saw Ferguson stop that ball, turn around and shoot, I was like, oh my God, we've got Aguero in our team. And it's rightly so, because they've been absolutely shit before this game. But now the problem is that we hype ourselves up, we expect him to do that again, and then the next game that he flops, we're back down. Oh, end alone, and this is Roma fans at its finest. I always say it, a fan base with no balance. There's no balance. Somebody scores a game and they're Pele, somebody scores an own goal or doesn't play well. He's the worst player that has ever stepped in this team. So yeah, I'm very happy about this performance, very happy about our league title position. League title position. Hallelujah. Europa League position. I think we can get in that top 8. That Stuttgart game is the crucial game remaining. 2 games left, one at home against a German team, and then the other one, the last one in Athens against Panathinaikos. Bring them on, but both of them will be in January. So now we do have a little bit of a breather. Como on Monday, bring it on. I've got a macroeconomics exam tomorrow morning, so I will catch you either tomorrow afternoon or Saturday afternoon. I'm going to try and fix this Zoom problem. I just hate iPhone updates for this reason, because they don't tell you what they're going to change. I hate it. I hate innovation on phones. I'm so happy with what I have. Why do I need to update it? And you just change things and you don't tell me. And I'm like, what do I do now? I hate updates on phones. If it was me, I would never update my phone. I would never do it. But it did it by itself when I was sleeping last night. Fucking son of a bitch. Anyways, hit the like. 100 likes on this video, guys. To send our good old friend who insulted us a good night. A good Steph Curry night. Catch you tomorrow. Hit the like, subscribe. Talk to you soon. See you at. Oops.